A question we often get at Stanley Premium Western Forage is, how did you get your hay so green, and did you color it? Did you use dyes to keep it that green color? Again, our forages here at Stanley Premium Western Forage are grown in the high desert region of Idaho. And that means hot summers with very little rainfall. So when we harvest a plant at its correct stage of maturity, we can actually get it processed and put into a bale very quickly. The other thing that we do that's different from many other different manufacturers is we completely store that hay under cover. In other words, no sunlight gets to that hay ever before it's processed into a pellet or cube. This retains the green color in that forage. We do not use any type of dye. The green color you see is simply high quality forage that has been cut, stored at the proper stage of maturity, and then stored so no heat or light gets to it, making a beautiful product that retains that green, healthy color. A basic question that we often get is, how much do we have to feed our horses with respect to the Stanley Premium Western forages? Horses digest forage, whether it's in a pelleted form, a cube form, or a long stem form, exactly the same way. So feeding amounts for pellets and cubes are the exact same feeding amounts that we would have for long stem forages. So for example, if we have a 1,000-pound horse, we typically want to start by offering 1.5% of their body weight in dry forage a day. So for, again, that 1,000-pound horse, that would be 15 pounds of forage per day. That would be 15 pounds of long stem forage, or 15 pounds of pellets, or 15 pounds of cubes. It doesn't make any difference from a digestibility standpoint. Our pellets, cubes are the same digestibility as long stem hay. So with horses, we're going to start at 1.5% of their body weight, and then if they work harder, they're lactating or pregnant, then we increase, and that goes up to about 2.5% of their body weight. One of the questions we often get at Stanley Premium Western Forage is, which forage type do you have that's the lowest in sugar and starch? And the sugar and starch question typically revolves around horses that have some sort of sugar sensitivity or have a disease where high sugar in the diet actually can make that disease process work. So we do have forages that are low in starch and sugar. First being the alfalfa products. Alfalfa products are lower in sugar and starch compared to our cool season grasses such as orchard grass and timothy grass. So the first choice would be any of the alfalfa products in any of the different physical forms that we manufacture. A new product that Stanley Premium Western Forage is introducing is a low carbohydrate or low sugar and starch grass forage, and that being teff hay. We do have that product coming available, and that is a low sugar, low starch option that for feeding grass type forages to horses that may be sugar or starch sensitive. So two products, the alfalfa products of course, and the new product, the teff products, are our low sugar and starch options for those particular horses. One of the questions I often get at Stanley Premium Western Forage is, how do you feed beet pulp? Well, beet pulp can be top dressed onto any feed as an additional calorie source, a highly fibrous calorie source that will help put weight on horses, help put weight on livestock. It can be added as a top dress to their normal grain meal. If the horse is naive or your horse is an aggressive eater, we'd certainly recommend soaking that before you add that back to the grain material you're feeding it on. But it's a high energy, highly fibrous nutrient source for horses and other livestock. One of the questions I'm often asked, do you add anything to your beet pulp? At Stanley Premium Western Forage, before the beet pulp actually comes to us, the sugar company actually adds something called concentrated separator byproduct. And what this is, it's liquid material that's used in the extraction of sugar, and it's added back to the beet pulp to actually cut dust and make it more palatable. Is it molasses? No, it contains much lower sugar content than molasses. It is an additive that is added to the beet pulp prior to us receiving it for processing. One of the tools we have on the Stanley Premium Western Forage website, stanleyforage.com, is we have a forage finder. That tool allows horse people to wade through all the different products that we have and find out which one is most appropriate for their horse. So they enter information about their horse, the type, the activity of the horse, and it gives recommendations of which forage type are most appropriate for that particular horse. Another tool that we have on the website is the feed calculator. And what that allows horse people to do is to determine if I'm feeding local hay or if I raised hay and that hay is not of great quality, if I add some high quality Stanley Premium Western forage to it, what effect does that have on my feeding program? And what that tool does is it calculates by replacing a certain amount of your existing forage with a high quality Stanley Premium Western forage, how much less grain that you'll have to feed that horse to meet its nutrient requirements. So two very good tools located on the website to help you select a product and then again to know how much to feed and the effective feed for your horse.